We are all about showcasing authors and supporting authors to become authorpreneurs. Natalie McQueen and Becky Norwood of Spotlight Publishing bring to you their Authors Spotlight and expert interviews. Success as an author hinges around well-thought-out marketing, which begins the moment you put your pen to paper or begin to tap the keyboard. Their expertise guides their authors to become #1 bestsellers, yet it doesn't stop there. The book establishes expertise, builds a business, and opens the doors to being seen, being read, and then being paid for their knowledge. Listen to this informative interview by Spotlight Publishing with Natalie and Becky.
Hello, and we are so excited to have you, Niki, for our live broadcast today.
Thank you.
My name is Becky Norwood, and this is Natalie McQueen. We're with Spotlight on Your Business and Spotlight Publishing, and we are super delighted to have Niki Faldemolaei to our call. We are featuring authors, and Niki has a number of books under her belt as far as being an author. She has helped others to publish as well and become #1 bestsellers. And here's her bio. We wanted to read because we wanted to represent her in the perfect way. It says, diligently co-creating extended health span so that humanity lives longer with vibrance and purpose. Niki is a best-selling author, publisher, and digital marketing strategist who helps you focus on monetizing workshops, educational content, speaking gigs, engage buyers, and optimize video marketing tools. Her website is extendedhealthspan.com, and that's for this new book that's coming up that will soon be available. And then it says, while working with the Newspaper Association of America, IMG Creative, and ProLight, Niki achieved successful client placements in USA Today, Newsweek, Washington Post, New York Times, Huffington Post, Muscle and Fitness, at the Cannes Film Festival and Toronto Film Festival, as well as the Sundance Channel, National Geographic Channel, and Showtime. Niki has also earned agency publishing and New York Times Interactive Awards. Wow. Congratulations.
Fun ride.
So this new book that's coming out in just 2 weeks, it's called The Extended Health Span, How to Affordably Extend Your Life by 20 Years or More, so you can bring your loved ones with you. 17 interviews with exponential experts in the field of stem cell therapy, gene therapy, microbiome, cryonics, robotics, wow, 3D printing, and more. This is exciting. I want to hear all about it. So
I think eventually it's going to be a very big book.
Yeah. So tell us about this project you're on and your
Yeah, I've actually been in corporate America for several years, left it to try to go find myself, get a little bit of metaphysical training in there too. But for the most part, I've always been an advocate for health. And so I was a scientist, worked in the fields of immunology and infectious diseases. And I really saw early that traditional science and traditional medicine specifically was leaning toward more sick care than health care. And so my goal in life is to change that reactive sick care system into a proactive healthcare system. And so extending health span is important to me because you listen to people who talk about extending their life by 10 or 20 or more years, and you think about longevity or anti-aging or even immortality. And those are pretty big ideas to wrap your head around. So what I thought I'd do is approach it from the standpoint that extending health span is about quality of life, not necessarily length of life, but length of life is a byproduct if you have a high quality, healthful life. And so what we're doing is with the book, it gets to go into a lot of detail as to what the opportunities are to extend our health span. And it talks about alternatives to just taking a pill for a symptom. And it talks about how you go into thinking proactively or even preventive in the way that you approach your life. And so I've been a walking research lab for the last 4 or 5 months now. I went through the health nucleus, entire genome sequencing of my genome. I've gotten my microbiome tested. I've had extensive blood tests. We went through a head scan, a heart scan. basically MRI, I got to see basically everything that's going on inside of my body. And so what we're hoping to achieve with this is to set a baseline for each of us in our health, whether we go through that deep of testing or not, is basically just to get that baseline in a scorecard of sort. And so I'm actually building an app that's going to be wearable technology that will set a baseline based on whatever input it gets from your body, from clothing that you wear with sensors on it, from your Fitbit, from anything else that you might be using as a wearable tech. So it picks up on what's going on in your body. And then you will through AI or artificial intelligence, will go ahead and have intelligence scan the record of what history has been, what your current status is, and what the future brings. And that's where all this advanced medicine, like exponential medicine, comes in. So people who are doing stem cell therapy, people who are doing gene therapy, and just, you know, serving up young blood, whether you're doing, you know, everything but either surgery or pills, we're going to have as that opportunity to rewrite the end of your story. And so this app will allow you to end your story with either superhero powers because you've knocked away pain or some other ailment, or you'll just get a mindfulness that's more playful. I guess it's more of an interactive exchange rather than being intimidated by all these big words and by how fast tech is moving. So,
well, it is a bit overwhelming when you look at all the things that are available and you wonder,
yes,
number one, can you afford it? Number two, is it really safe? Is it this? Is it that? You know.
That's right.
And when, especially like 3D printing, that just blows my mind.
Yes.
You know, it's just like, how can that possibly be, you know?
Yeah, they're printing kidneys now as an option, you know, in the future to
That's right.
do kidney replacement. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, they're doing bone grafting and all kinds of things. And so to me, that opens up a great opportunity for people to live a quality of life that they'll actually want to stay alive long enough to live.
And that's been the key to it all. If you're constantly sick and in huge pain,
yes,
then the option of just that ending it, letting it end is what has happened for many, many, many years. But if you know that you're not going to be suffering and you're going to be live a very active, full, rich life, think of the wonderful things that can happen because you have the health to enjoy it.
Right.
You have the health and you have the wisdom, because you know, the age
span
just a few hundred years ago was, you know, 20, 40, and now all of a sudden we're up to 80, and we're predicting to get to 100. So the 100 is going to be the new 60. And with all that wisdom, we have an opportunity to have a third or fourth career and be very impactful in this lifetime. So
with all that wisdom, that with all the things that we've had to learn in this whole, you know.
That's right.
Wonderful. So it says you had 17 interviews with really exponential experts. Tell us about what that was like for you.
Well, basically, a lot of the footage I captured, not just interview style, but also people giving their presentations, because as I talk, they start to lecture. Scientists tend to do that. So what I have are a lot of great sound bites from all the experts, and I'm actually working with a membership team that is involved in the abundance mentality, Abundance A360. Is Peter Diamandis's group, and he basically is a great futurist who has grown by leaps and bounds in just a couple of years. And he actually is one of the founders of the Human Longevity Institute, which is where Health Nucleus did all this testing for me. And as it turns out, when I was a scientist back in Washington, D.C., I was working in and around Craig Venter, who is the other founder, one of the other founders of HLI. And he did the first human genome sequence, and he sequenced his own. And it took, I think they said it was like $100,000, $1 million, something like that. And it's exponentially come down in price because they demonetize over time. And so now you can get your genome done for under $1,000. And it's just incredible how that price point came down, and now it's more affordable for people. And through my experimentation, I've got about a dozen people who have gone through the testing too, who are going to contribute to not only the book, but the whole project. And we're basically going to be reporting on what we found, what was shocking, what was surprising, what was pleasing. You know, it was like, I was
and exciting.
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people who actually catch disease in stage 0 or 1 instead of waiting for 3 and 4 to express symptoms. So in my mind, I want to find things before they become a disease.
Right. Right.
And then you can handle it through all these different methods.
Then you're not filling your body with poisons and all
Exactly.
other stuff that has gone on for a very long time.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. And we're reshaping the healthcare system. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of 14 pills a day to treat side symptoms and, you know, basically the problems that you've always had, now we're going to take 14 supplements and vitamins and all these yummy food issues.
So then this probably will turn into more of a series as you build upon this book, and the more that's going to come out from all of this.
Yes.
It's likely to be hugely impactful for a lot of people, and because of that, they're going to be clamoring for more information.
Yeah, definitely. And it really would be easy for me just to make it very simple and do a book for each condition. But what I wanted to do, because I've been going down the path of assembling pitch decks to try to get funding. And so to do that, I have to get really concise and I have to speak in a language that potential investors would understand, as well as mainstream for crowdfunding would basically want to grab onto. So it's got to be something fun, it's got to be something trendy, and it's got to be something somewhat affordable. And so I think the book itself is the tool that's going to tell the whole story, whereas the pitch deck or any other interviews that I do, I can only tackle 1 or 2 or 3 topics without overwhelming people.
Right. I think we mentioned it when we were on our mastermind call recently, but Natalie and I have been focusing on a lot of nonprofits getting their books out there because there's so many amazing nonprofits, but they don't have a platform to really showcase their story.
Exactly.
And so our first one is going to be pretty amazing. They're just getting the funding, but each person that's in the chapter is being sponsored by a supporter.
That's great.
So it's taking longer to put it all together, but it's still in the works. It's amazing.
Yeah, doing a group book is an affordable way for people to become authors. And I think that's a really special way for people to get their feet wet and learn the publishing process. And that's what you do so well, is you kind of bring people in a very warm and, you know, loving way. You explain the ropes. And so it makes a lot of sense to get a group together and bring something together.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
Something that the nonprofits or other organizations can use as an ongoing way to make awareness, to do a fundraiser.
Absolutely.
And new clients, or, you know, attract the people that they want to. So it's very powerful.
Yeah, it's your ticket. It's your foot in door strategy. Bringing that book as the precursor to educate, and then taking it into like these interviews. You know, it's just
it's been pretty amazing, because the compilation books I have done, it's been powerful in the sense that for a lot of the people, this was the first experience in that kind of realm, and it was the first time they really let their voices be heard. And it changed them. It just changed life for them. And I think, you know, even in this, it's a different type of a project that you're working on, but it's the same scope. It's the same magnitude. And just the fact that we have at our fingertips our digital world is just amazing right now, you know, and it keeps changing. And I call it evolution, even though I don't believe in that, like the Darwin theory of evolution.
Right.
Look at how much we've evolved over just the last 100 years.
Exactly.
Absolutely amazing.
I call it disruption. We're about to change the way things go around here.
Well, and I told my grandson, he's only 6, I said, you know, probably when you get to be about, you know, a young man in, you know, 20s, 30s, you won't be driving in this car, because he really hates the amount of road time that he has to put up with. I said, you'll go up like this and zoom, you'll be there.
Right.
All right. Or underground in Elon Musk's tunnels. Yep.
Yep.
So it's just what's changed over the last just 100 years, let alone, over.
Exactly. Well, if you look at your phone, I mean, that is the new computer that used to be a room-sized thing. So.
Yeah. I remember my first car phone was in a zipper bag that was like a little suitcase, and the thing was the size of your head.
One of those.
Yeah, you thought you were so cool. You're like,
That's right. Early adopter.
So Niki, out of kind of the modalities that you've been able to be exposed to, share with us one that really excites you, or you can see it really having an impact on people. I know that's
to me, it's all exciting. So I get excited about any of them. But I think what I'll do is I'll share it's not really the main reason, because I've lived this all my life, trying to live in a better way and do things, in a more healthy and beneficial way for humanity, because I want to change humanity. I don't want to change just a few people. But the thing that really inspired me to take this on full time and make this my new passion and my new goal in life was my brother's diagnosis with stage 4 glioblastoma. So this is an aggressive cancer. It's probably the worst one you can get. And he was a very healthy guy in his 60s, but he was extremely healthy. He swore he was going to outlive all of his siblings. And when he came down with the diagnosis, because of his training and his upbringing and his being sort of that, caregiver, he's the type A personality. He didn't want advice from those of us that had a little bit more knowledge about what the options were. And he listened to his doctor, he listened to his insurance company, and he went down the standard surgery, chemo, radiation, a couple of times, went through. And now that he's in his 12th month of survival, and he's planning on making it anywhere from 2 to 5 years in his mind, I'm happy to say that he is exploring some of the alternative stuff. And so now he's looking into what the holistic medicines are and what the different immunotherapy and what research is going on that he could tap into. So I was inspired to start down the path of explaining it to somebody like him. Through this book, through this project, through getting other people to say it's safe, it's not scary, and yes, we're moving so fast that there's no way to stop it, so you might as well get on the train, right?
Right.
So it's just been an interesting ride, and it falls into place for me when people in my life and people that I can then explain it to and share it with can then adopt sort of a bigger vision for what it's going to be.
Very much. And I always think of our amazing friend, Sue Ferreira, and her outlook and what she's doing. And
that's right.
It's fun because I just received an email from somebody that I don't really personally know. I had started following, but Sue had been on her stage last weekend and closed 80% of the room on her video and YouTube training.
That's great.
It is so amazing. And she's 72. And she thoroughly believes that she will be long, into the hundreds.
Yes.
With her sparkle and her she isn't stopping working. She's busy. She's out there meeting people, doing things, speaking on stages.
Always a smile on her face.
I think those life-changing events tend to make people be a little bit more inspired and a little bit more productive, because she really kicked into gear. I knew she was working hard before, but now she's just working fun.
Yeah.
She's really taken a different perspective, and I really love that about her.
Well, she's always been an inspiration to me, as are you. To see what you're doing, and what a cool way we get to support each other by doing.
That's right.
In so many different ways.
Exactly. We're all unique, and that's the whole purpose in a medical print, to be in our uniqueness and not be treated the same as everybody else, because we all respond differently. So. Very
much. Well, I took a screenshot since I didn't have an actual.
Okay.
For those who are
There's the cover of the book.
There's the cover of the book. That's all I have readily available to me. So, and it will be released in 2 weeks. And then we will be supporting you on your book launch. So keep us posted on any of the details. We will be posting it out as well. But be sure and watch for it. It'll be on Amazon and within 2 weeks. And if this is a subject that would, warm your heart and that you're really interested in, I would say this is where you start. And then check out. We'll keep it, because we'll be putting this on YouTube and in different various places as well.
Excellent.
And
Thank
so,
you.
if you want to do another interview and when you launch this book, just reach out to us and we will make it available to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of Natalie and I at Spotlight on Your Business and Spotlight Publishing, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Awesome. Meet you and talk to you.
Authors hire Becky and Natalie of Spotlight Publishing for their guidance in treating their book as their business. Many authors have no idea where to start, how to market themselves, nor how to have a successful book launch reaching #1 bestseller. This often leads to discouragement and disappointment. Spotlight Publishing works with their authors to get seen, get read, and get paid for their knowledge and expertise. For more information, go to www.spotlightonyourbusiness.com. Spotlight Publishing. Your book is your business.